One. When do you use the use effect hook?
So it's like lifecycle method. It is like that.
Yeah,
Like
we use it when we fetch data, but unlike component did mount, we can which is rendered one time, right? Fetched one time. Use effect can do it like multiple times, depending on whenever we call.
Okay, so I guess everyone thinks like this, right? As well.
Yes.
Since no one is answering, everyone stays quiet. So, oops. I will send the use effect. Just a moment. So who wants to start, by the way? Which team? Shall we go in the order? So here also, so you can read about use effect. It should clarify a lot of things. Meanwhile, let's start. I think we waited long enough. So let's start with Izetbek's team. By the way, is Izetbek still joining the class? I wanted to know.
A couple of days he didn't join. Maybe 10 days. About.
So how did you work then on this project? Recep, Ulan, Kasiyet, Çantay, Yıldız?
Kasiyet also didn't join about 5-6 days. So we did with Yıldız just, and Ulan also didn't attend, like we cannot reach.
Okay, so what did you do then?
So can I share?
Yeah, of course. So it's Yıldız didn't attend, so it was you, Çantay, right?
Çantay also no.
Okay. So who worked with you, Recep, then?
So me and Yıldız.
Okay, you and Yıldız. Okay. So two out of 6 people, only 2 people worked. This is the worst team performance so far, right? Okay, cool.
Yes.
Yep. Recep.
Okay.
Yıldız, go ahead.
Yeah,
One
Recep
second.
will
Okay.
Cheers.
Can you see?
Yes, I can see sun.
Yeah. Okay. VS Code, can you see VS Code?
Yeah, yes, I see.
Okay. And then start. Yes. Again. Sorry. npm start. Okay. Yes. This is our UI.
Nice. Yep.
And we have just 3 functionality, just like we have this menu bar, like we can see when we buttons leaves. When we click, we can see all our items, and then breakfast categories is here. Lunch again, shakes, dinner, just this, and we implement from React Strap like add button and also delete button, remove button, and when we choose some order or item like this, we can see changing our cart part like this and this increasing, and when we go our order section, when we click here, we can see what we choose, and
very nice.
also we can see our total price and how many items that we choose. And when we remove some items like this, we can see it's decreasing, like changing every like this. And when we update, just we didn't like searching, we tried to do, but we couldn't, and also we couldn't do like updating.
You couldn't do it because you didn't have time, or because you
yes, because of time, and also we start about 3 days ago, no, Yıldız? Yeah. Sorry.
Because I think that we should present our project next week, and then I realized that we should present in a couple days. Then.
So when you try to when you split the project, so what did you guys do? Like, what you work both of you on this project? Who did what?
So yeah, Yıldız, you can.
This first filter one, Recep did also on his way, and me did it, and also we did filtering by price, and these orders did Recep.
Also, I I took help from my friend. He's graduated this bootcamp, and also he helped me. I didn't do myself everything is because unfortunately I'm not able to do like this, but some part yes I did, because we didn't have time and we start late, so he helped me, and like we with Yıldız we try to understand like these codes, but yeah, just myself I'm not able to like doing like everything is, but I understand the logic, but not everything.
I see. Okay.
Sorry about that, but
no, it's okay, especially because it was only two of you out of the whole team, so I can understand. Yep, great job, guys. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, so poor performance from your teammates actually, but yeah, nonetheless you did a good job. So next is the Sambat's team. Sambat.
Hi. Yeah, let me share my screen. In our team, yeah, everyone was working really good. We divided all the functionality, and everyone did their own part really fast, and we were using GitHub. and you can see commits, like everyone was pushing their own job. So we combined it really fast. We tried to do with the backend. Yeah, here's our design. It is like this. We have search functionality.
Nice. So you did it with backend?
Yes.
Okay.
Then we have some categories, like, and we also have sorting, and also like breakfast, lunch, dinner, kids meal.
Very good.
So like 4 type of searching, and we have add to cart functionality. Here we are adding to the cart like different stuff. If it is like minus and it is 0, it's not going to the minus.
So you did validation.
Yeah. And when we're opening the cart,
nice animations.
shows, yeah, like we can decrease from here too, and the total sum is changing too, and the amount changing too. We did check out, but like we didn't finish it yet, but we have some message that it is preparing.
Very good.
It is for the UI part, and also we have like admin part. It's like this, like you showed us the tables. We can create a new dish.
Content management.
Yeah. I have here some data. For example, we don't have this one, right? So we can get it here. I'll do it really fast. We started with the local data. Then when we have done with the backend and the database, we migrated there our code and combined all that. So yeah, here the number is changing, and when we refresh, it is all written in the database. Yeah, I just created one
extra.
Yeah, extra, and we also can delete it. Yeah, it's working now. It's 9, and we can also edit it. Editing also working. 29. Yeah, it's 29. So we did it here, and our database is in MongoDB, and we use
DB, you mean?
Yeah, DB. And we use Postmates to check our put, post, delete requests, and get requests.
So you wanted to learn backend. Did you have opportunity to do a little bit of backend?
Yes. Yeah, we have backend running here. Yeah, this is mostly backend did Danyar. He created for us controllers and all that stuff. And we connected to the backend our
nice. Yes. So how did all people in your team participated?
Yeah, actually everyone, you can see it from the GitHub. You see IPD pushed, Yulia pushed, Karina pushed, Eli pushed, so everyone. And with Danyar, we were combining all the codes. Yeah, they did really great job. And the styling. And
this is you showed quite a great complexity of the project. Also, you showed like quite a good example of teamwork. So guys, well done. I really like it. It's animations, a lot of like QI is complex.
Yeah.
Added backend. It's a content management. It's of course it's not like a kind of, well, you know, like a business ready project, but it's a lot of been done. And if you continue polishing it, working on it, I'm sure that you can turn it into a good product, and you can probably even sell it to some like a small business.
Yeah, we also had the ready code for the login, sign up, and all that stuff. This admin part could see only logged in authorized person, but we couldn't implement it to here. Like we didn't have enough time.
Sure. But you already did a lot.
Thank
Well
you
done,
so
guys.
much. Yep.
Well done.
Thank you.
Cool. So did you like to be tech lead? Sambat, your personal opinion?
Oh, it's really hard actually.
Okay.
But I liked it.
Okay, nice. So now it's Aktan's team. Is Aktan here?
Yes, Nurzhan, hello.
Hi.
Hi. Yeah, well, I'll just say that I did not. Basically, I barely participated. I participated once because I had a very busy schedule and I did not attend most of the meetings. But my team, except me, everyone worked, and Nurzhan can show the work.
Sure.
Hi everybody.
Hi, Nurzhat.
So far we did this. So we start on starting Tuesday this project. It was kind of challenging to get together. I think the whole 1 week we didn't do, and just this 3 days we did all this project. And so we use here like higher order functions. We use the Material UI and React app, and so this is the data. To display, we use as usual the map, and to filter, we use the filter functionality here. And for the like we added like using sort higher order function that we can sort by the low to high, high to low.
So you use Material UI, right?
Yes, and
yeah, good.
Like for example, high to low, so it will go from to high to low. And then just yesterday we implement, like if you click to the card, so it's gonna add it here. And once you can see, like as usual, the team, we did the same thing. Here we used to get the whole the price, we use the reduce function, the higher order function, and if you delete, it's gonna change price too. And
cool. Yeah, that was quite a long number, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you should round it to.
Yeah, we did it, but somehow it gets like.
It slipped through. Yep.
And this is our code. I mean, if the total is gonna be 0. And this is our code. So we use a hook function.
Use states.
Yes, use state.
So
here,
you became more familiar with use states now, right?
Yes. And here, like this is the function just clicking, and here just by sorting, what is the we use. And here if you're clicking the basket, is gonna show either the inside or outside the menu list. So this is the
go
function.
Up a little bit, Nurzhat? Up. Handle basket before. So handle sort. Can you click? You see you have event input. Can you click on event? Event target. So you use event, then you say event target, right?
Yeah, because the button has a, I mean, 1 second. Button, where's the button? Because button has a value. No, this is that sorting. I mean, the select. 1 second. This, because it has a value. That's why we use the event target value.
I see. I see.
Yeah.
Cool. Good. Good. Yep.
And then here, just selecting, we use the filter. And here that all the functionality we use so far, and all of them we use Material UI and React Strap and
yeah, like try not to mix the two. Okay, either use React Strap or Material UI in future. I would suggest stay with Material UI.
Okay.
Yeah. So because when you mix two, it is kind of like it becomes just a mixture, right? Of this very hard to then modify if you modify one, because they have to be consistent. There has to be consistency. So usually better to stick with one tech, because they essentially they're going to do the same thing, right?
So this is done by me, Elia, Tashtan, Erlan, and Akchalpon. And Aktan also participate, and we did together.
Yep. Cool. Now, and I think it's fine, Aktan, like that you couldn't participate. Your team did very well anyway. I like the result. I like that everyone does the progress, everyone contributes to the team's output. So it's fine to miss sometimes participate less, right? Like, we are not saying miss because you didn't miss completely. So, but yeah, I think team 3 did quite a good job as well. Okay, so now we have Bignar's team. Can you surprise us, Bignar?
Oh, yeah, I hope. Yeah, let me start. So yeah, let me start.
I can see you created your theme, right?
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah, so let's watch
movie.
Yeah.
Wow, what's this?
So yeah, here's our project. We have these items in our restaurant, in our cafe. We took this from the Starbucks. Each element, yeah. So images are taken from the Starbucks, and for each image, for each item, we have names, and they have new properties. Some of them are new, some of them are not. And also they have time for preparing for each of them. And the price, you see, when you press, it has a model, and it has a description.
Cool.
Yeah, so some of them gluten-free, some of them are organic, and you can add to cart. So when you add to cart, the number is increasing, and when you add one more time, it will not increase because it counts only unique items inside of, yeah. So also it has this one, but it doesn't work. It's just animation.
Yep, very nice.
Yeah.
Yep,
yeah,
quite good.
Yeah. So what else we have? We have filter. We can filter by all food or just the drinks. Also, we have order. So we can order by price, by name. So we have two options. Also, okay, let's search, for example, bacon. So it just shows, it filters by the name. So one more feature that I have added is voice search. Okay, let me.
Looking forward to it. Yep.
Yeah, let me demonstrate. Yeah, like bagel. So it. Yeah,
look
so
at this. So which API did you use?
It's voice recognition.
Yep.
It has Chrome has built-in speech recognition API. So I used it. Yeah. Yeah. So also one more. Yeah. You want
no, go ahead. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Also, when I go to cart, for example, it opens this new. I used router for this. So it opens a new window actually. So I can increase number, decrease. When I decrease, for example, it becomes 0, and it removes from here. Nice. Yeah, and I can empty the basket. And when I empty, it just empties everything. And when I want to go back, I need to press here, and it comes back to the main page. Nice. And cart is emptied.
Very good.
I can do it again. What was that? So about snows, and the snows. You see, it's like the clouds here. Flakes. Snowflakes are coming from the bottom. And
where did you get this inspiration?
Yeah, it's Tamara's idea. So Tamara found it, and when we had a meeting with teammates, we decided to make this background. So like it's got the snow is coming from the top and
like from the cloud snowflakes.
Yes, yeah. So yeah, we had to modify each snowflake. You see, the sizes are different, and and that we needed. We wanted to have more snowflakes on the left and on the right, and also we had some troubles with snowflakes. Some of them were doing so synchronously, and it was annoying. So so we need to modify each of them. So it took a lot of time for us. Yeah. So and also about this one loading page, we did it by ourselves. So it's a customized one.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's guys. I think team 2 and team 4 or team 5, like Big Nar's team, guys, that you can put it in your portfolio. Every single team member who was contributing to the project, you can put it in your portfolio. It is very impressive. Both teams, you did very great job. Like the Vignar, this is a production ready, beautiful design. You guys, you did quite a good, amazing job on front end. It's like it's the killer, right? So this is what it's beyond my expectation. Team 2, the complexity of your project is like beyond any expectation. I think it's definitely worth showing in your portfolios. It's a great job. Well done, guys.
Thank you. And also I want to just tell that we used backend, but backend was not implemented by me. I just found the ready backend. You see all the stuff, all the products are so already here, and we just need to. So we can just modify images, and also it has a checkout, but I didn't do checkout part. And we used GitHub as well. We pushed everything, and everyone was participating. For example, this part, the backend part, that was done by Aymana. She offered us. Suggested this Starbucks theme, and we followed this theme, and styling was done some of the part was done by Davran, and Tamara offered this this loading page.
Loading page.
Yeah, and the snowflakes and these clouds. And
beautiful.
Evgenia did this part. This filtering.
You know, guys, do you see? It's like it's very crisp designed, right? Like it's just like this is what you would see like on actually on high-end products, right? Websites. You can see that it's very attractive. The colors, like you guys, you have a very the way how you picked up colors, you have a good touch to the, you know, like see the how the colors are matched very well. So it's very good.
Yeah. When we had a meeting, we made maybe yesterday we spent maybe 3 or 4 hours about to style this one. So everyone was contributing their own opinion. So like, I like this, I like this. No, I don't like this. Let's do this. And so we did a lot.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you know, like what impresses me most is that I think like when you sit in as a team, right? Like, and you get contribution from everyone. Doesn't matter how much the person knows or doesn't know, right?
Yeah.
Every opinion is valuable. So, you know, like if you are very knowledgeable, but you are doing it alone, you cannot achieve this result. Why? Because, you know, like a lot of things just comes from others as an input, right? So
yeah, of course.
Yeah. So you guys, you did a very good job. Yeah. So far, team 2 and team 5. So because we don't have team 4, so we have team 5 and both teams. It's amazing. Definitely, you showed the class, so the people are, you know, like trying to try to achieve the same level of, you know, delivering the same quality results. That's very nice. Okay, so then we have team 6, 1. So who is in team 6? Do we have Ulan here?
Hi, Nurzhan, how are you? Hi, everybody.
Hi, so Adilhan.
Yeah, Ulan and Batir, they have a code, and Ulan said he gonna join the class after 15-20 minutes, I guess. And Batir is driving home, so.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, maybe we can. Yeah.
So we shall wait for them, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So we will wait for them. Once they join, we will let them. We will let them present the project. Meanwhile, guys, to summarize, I think you did a very good job. Like every single team, like team 1, Recep and Julduz, you know, the fact that you did it, just 2 of you, and despite that, the rest of the team didn't help you. It's very good.
Thank you.
You still, you know, pushing forward, and this is the most important thing. Like,
can I add about our teams? They said that if we will say them that can you help us, they will help. Azerbaik and Jantai and Ulan and also guys says that they can help if we. So I mean that they didn't say that we can't do anything. They said us that they can help us, but it was our fault that we can't do it earlier.
Yeah, I see. You had a fun time and between the teams. Yeah, I can understand
it's not the
Yeah, okay. But you know, it's because it's a team effort, right? So guys, I know that some of you have been asking, I said, when you will start the internship. So internship is 2 weeks away. So today I will give you the last kickoff of the 2-week project, which you will have to complete. And then we will, in 2 weeks time, you will start your internships. And internships, it's massive. It's a big project. And of course, there could be situations when you cannot like contribute right to the team. But what is important is that you have to always understand that if you don't show up for some reason, like if it is once, it's not a problem. But if you are doing it consistently, or for some reason you cannot attend it the whole week, you cannot contribute even once, this is like you're not only putting in danger yourself, but you're also putting in danger the whole team, right? And which is not acceptable. Doesn't matter like how busy you are, you have to at least find the one day in a week where you can sit with your team and then figure out like what's up, what needs to be done. Regarding the internship will be split into like 5 weeks. So we will create a Jira board for you guys. So every team will do work on project. So a team will be bigger. So we will join a few teams. So it will be probably 3 teams instead of 5. And the reason is why we want to join. It is because it is a bigger project, but also there could be situation when people for some reason or another will miss they won't be able to contribute, so that's why we want to kind of like, we will create 3 big teams. We will reshuffle the people, so most likely Sambat, Biknar, and I think Aktan will be tech leads. So the rest, the other people will be reshuffled between among of these 3 teams, and then you will start working on the project. So we will provide you documentation. We will have like official kickoff meeting every week. You will have a chance to ask questions, unblock yourself. Every Friday you will have you probably will ask questions a lot, how to do this and that. But then over time you will get confidence. You will learn a lot of things, including the Redux. And then like most of the Friday classes you will be spending working on your projects. And I'm sure that if you put a lot of time in internship, you definitely will have a kind of like industrial level experience. So you can consider it like as a real project, because the quality and the level of complexity of that internship will be quite high. And whatever you did so far, it was like preparation. So I was giving you like a lot of tasks which I was asking you to go push, do a lot of research, push your ideas, try to implement them. So you're kind of like been trained, I think, like quite well now. So today we will do kickoff of the last part, which is very common thing in any web development, and these are forms. So forms will be everywhere. Like if you work as a developer, you will have to build a lot of forms, because like you can imagine that like building forms is it can be like a payment form, it can be like any other form, like it can be like a survey, right? You can make a survey So a lot of forms. So in order to build the forms, we will kind of like continue using React and Material UI. So what you will need is to build, like I created 2 projects instead of one. I created like a team can decide. So we already have like another week, right? So you guys you can decide which form you would like to build. One is a little bit easier, and one is more realistic. So more realistic, and it's will be used probably by us then in the future, or by say tech team. So I'm just wondering if someone wants to take a challenge and build like real project. So the first easy one, it's a build Material UI form. Like initially, essentially like this basic checkout. This basic checkout form is based on the Material UI. So as you can see that it has a very like basic information such as name, address, city, and so on. What you can add here, so to complete this project, you will need a few things like React class or functional components you need to know on-click events. You should know how to submit forms, how to prevent default things. Also, you will need to be able to style Material UI components, how to do state management, and implement lifecycle hooks. So for this project, it's a very simple, probably like if a situation happens again with Recep and Julduz, for example, like in the situation when your teammates cannot contribute for some reason, or and they cannot come up and help you out. So you probably should consider this option because it's easy. So if you want to go a little bit forward and you complete somehow you completed this quite fast, and you just eager to take a little bit more challenges, you can build payment details and review your order in any like a way you like. Just look at any payment system and just fill up that form and kind of like ensure that you're going from one form to another and another. So basic functionality we are looking for is display first page of the form shown in the figure above. Otherwise, if you want to take more challenges, then do display other pages shown on the next page. So this is regarding the Material UI. You will have to take it you will have 2 weeks to build this project. So it's not a big project, a little bit kind of like if you want to take a rest and maybe before internship starts, maybe it's a good opportunity to do something like which will be less challenging. On the other hand, if you're like very want to take a challenge, want to go ahead and try to build something which is more realistic, more sophisticated, there is another project. So just give me a second. So this project is there is like a Amazon Relay load board. So like, do we have a former track drivers here? Do we have like maybe someone worked on a truck before?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. So if you used to understand Toshtan, right? Both of you.
Yep.
So yeah. So you probably heard about Amazon Relay. Amazon Relay, it's a kind of like it's a system where like Amazon posts their loads, and then like different track companies, they can
a bit for those loads, and like to kind of like ensure that the loads are delivered. So there's, even though the system, this like form doesn't look very complicated, there are a lot of things which you will learn, and there will be obviously it will be React material UI. There will be like optional things which you can do, or wrap your form in Formic. Formic is a library which helps you to handle like a lot of things, such as value changes, errors, and all that things, that visited fields. And so it's kind of like orchestrates the forms that you can see, like companies like Airbnb, OpenTable, Lyft, they even Docker, they using these forms. So you can see it's like very popular. Booking.com, Nasdaq, PwC, like pretty much like big guys, they are using the Formic at some places. So knowing Formic is it would be definitely an asset in your CV. So which if I were you, I would have taken the challenge, but no pressure, right? So here, pretty much the same similar concept, like of requirements, and also expected results. So someone is sending something. So this so here you what you will need to do is expected results. In the expected results, and there is like obviously build this form using React and Material UI. You will have to create like a submit button somewhere, and then when you submit, button pressed, the form should return an object with all fields up to, with all filled up data, right? So you can see this is a default view of the form. So every single field here in the form is displayed here. So it's like a kind of just print screen, or like a I use a print screen, just print it out. So what you will learn here in this project, you will learn first of all like the concept of the Formic. Then you will learn like a validation, how to validate that your data is matching the like if you want to go and apply validation, I would suggest using YAP. So YAP, it's a validation library which helps you to validate data coming from the form. So Formic and YAP, they're quite good, well integrated. As you can see, YAP is very popular library, more than 2 million downloads per week, which is crazy. And then you also can select daytime, learn how would you do it. That in the origin you can connect it to Google API. I will show it next week. If should you decide to build this form, you can use. I will show you how to build use Google API maps and places. So I can show you how to build this kind of stuff. Also next week I will show you how to do debouncing. So you will be able to put it in your CV that you optimize your application by employing debouncing in your React applications. So as you can see, like here, this project is it will be a little bit of stretch, and I think you should consider, right, like it's a kind of like risk. If you're not if you think that you are not in a good fit, like your team is probably not strong enough to build this stuff, maybe you should consider this project. So, guys, these are 2 projects. Do you want to ask any questions? Regarding the project, maybe you still have questions about internships and all that stuff.
I have a question about the form.
Yes. Yep.
So should we build just the UI, or we should submit the inputs somewhere?
Like backend will be if you like to submit it somewhere, then you probably can build a backend, but it is not necessary. Like for this form, you can build backend if you like. For this form, it's not necessary, but like if you like, I cannot say no. So anything you like to build extra, of course, like it is encouraged. I encourage you to kind of like push yourself and take a rest only when you find a job and you get your first holiday, annual leave, then you should rest. Any other time, until that time happens, you just have to work hard and learn as much as you can. So if you want to build backend, I would love to, but no obligations, right? So that's why even I'm not giving this project. I'm giving this project as a site, like it's an optional thing. So so people don't get stressed if they cannot build this form, because for this form there are certain requirements we want, and they are more like realistic thing. For this one, they're a little bit loose, so you can build it as in any quality you want. Guys, so I can hear like silence. Is it a good thing or bad thing?
Good thing.
We're excited.
Okay. Excited. Okay. Okay. So
I have a question about the project internship.
Yes, Alan.
So
Yeah,
you said we will have 3 teams with 3 tech leads, and then 3 tech leads, and you will assign others to each team, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So I would do it randomly. I don't want to do it like I don't want to put like people, because if I put one person in a different team, like I will. There are people whom I will kind of combine, such as like Simbat and Danyar. They will be always in the one team, and the reason is that because Danyar used to be tech lead of the team 2, and due to his like a busy schedule during the work, he acknowledged that he cannot work to be tech lead. So, and he asked me to kind of replace him, and we agreed that I will replace him with someone, but he will help that person. So Sambat will be always like a kind of, they will work in like in a duet together, Sambat and Danyar, and probably others. The rest it will be completely random. I'm not going to kind of put people just because they're asking me to put in the different teams. So. And of course, like if tech leads, they think that they are not, it's kind of like a little bit hard for them. They like somebody, I will encourage you to stay, because we need at least one lady as a tech lead. So you probably will stay. But let's say you pick Nar or Aktan, you think that it's a little bit too much. You want to be like a kind of on the support roles. We can put some other people as a tech leads, but I also would like to ask you to stay because you did very well with your teams. So I would love you to stay and be tech leads over the internship.
Biknar? Wait, sorry, Nurzhan?
Yes.
For how long are you going to work on the internship project, like time-wise?
It will be 5 weeks. So it will overlap with your preparation with your CV writing and all that stuff, because the theory will end up soon, right? So like your classes as they were, like, you know, kind of every day 3 hours, they will end up soon, very soon. So then you will have to work on your projects as much as you can. And then you will have to write it up. So like whatever you learn in this internship, you will put it as you will put it in your CV that you did that and this. And so more you do in your internship, the easier will be in your interview, because it will be a real experience, right? So I know that, like, looking at today's projects, team 2 and team 5, they just like already can put a lot of things in their CV, and that's great. So, and I want like everyone to go through these challenges, right? Like all the building quite complex things. So, and of course, like 5 weeks is still, it's for a big project, it's not enough. But unfortunately, like, you know, because we have like a 6 months bootcamp, so we kind of like have to go around the certain time frame. The 5 weeks, it's a maximum which we think it's kind of like you should spend on the internship, because, like, you know, like ideally I think like working about 10 weeks on the project, on the internship, would be better. But at the same time, you know, we want you to kind of like don't overstay here, and we want you to start applying earlier and securing the jobs, because this is like what we want you at the end to do, right? So you need to find the jobs, become the developers, not only in the Slack channel to be called developers, but also like be actual developers, right, at work. So this is what we want. And yeah, so that's why we want you to work 5 weeks during when you start preparation for interviews, because the internship will end just before the time you kind of start applying. So you will still have like fresh memory about the project you worked on, like about the work you've done, what kind of technological stack you used, and all that stuff. So so we think that you will be in a good shape to find your first job as a software developer.
Okay, thank you. Got it.
May I ask a question?
Yes, Nurzhan. Yes.
So during internship, you say 5 weeks. So we're gonna have a regular like Friday classes. So you're gonna teach us like regular classes?
No. Like I will unblock you if you're stuck. I'm not going to teach. Most of the stuff you will have to do research. Like there won't be any demonstrations from my side in terms of like, you know, building new projects and anything. So should you find like actual problems, like blockages, so every Friday we will meet. Every team will deliver kind of like stand-up meeting of there will be like project managers or tech leads. So they will tell about the progresses, what they've done. Every 2 weeks, you will do demonstrations of how much you've done, what was the progress, who participated, who not. Then you also will tell me about your blockages, blockages can be anything related to the technical thing, maybe personal things and all that stuff. So and we will try to solve those blockages within 3 hours time. So of course, when you come up with blockages, the first thing I will ask is like, what have you done to solve that blockage, resolve it? If you haven't done anything, or I consider that you didn't do sufficient research, you probably will have to go back and do proper research and then come back with better questions. So we will keep it like as realistic as possible. This is what happens at work. You come up to your senior engineer with whenever you have like a blockage, you will have to come up with all these ideas you already tried, consider it like what kind of cases you'll consider to solve that blockage, and only if you cannot solve it, then you probably will be and only then a senior engineer will help you to solve the blockage. Otherwise, you will have to do own research, do a lot of things by yourself, and not like as individuals, but as a team.
Okay, so all these things is gonna happen only in Friday, but the rest of them will be as usual classes, right?
I'm not sure about like usual classes. I believe that theory will end up very soon. So you are, how many weeks you left? Do you have like a timetable or something like schedule of your classes?
Yes.
So when the classes will end?
Like end of January. Pardon, end of December.
So which week we are in now? So we are in November, right? November 20th. So just give me a second. So we did
week 5.
So you think you're week 5? It's not possible because you started when in you started in July, right? Or August?
August
I mean, on React on.
Okay. So you're on React week 5. So
because we already, we're doing React hooks.
3, 4.
This practice
5. So you see, there are like 6 weeks in React, right? Correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So like you can see it on my screen, right? So like it's a week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5, and now then week 6, right? So as you said, like it will be week 5, and then it will be week 6, right? So essentially it's this week and the next week. And
I
then,
think, if I'm not mistaken, Asila said that there will be 2 more weeks added. I don't know if they're already added.
Yeah, even then, if it is added, I don't know like how they will structure their work. So while you're doing like this 2-week project, I think they're covering week 5 and week 6. And then like once internship started, I don't think that you will have a heavy theory classes. Most of the time you will be spending doing your internships. And I think it would be wise to do more internship, because in terms of like theory, they pretty much you are like covered up. So you by now you should know like a lot of things. The rest, whatever you don't know, you will have to look at the documentations, learn beyond the theory classes, you whatever you got in the theory classes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so pretty much like after week 6, it will be like internships. Cool. Okay, guys, let's have a 10 minutes break and then we will be back, right? And I will show you like some stuff related to the forms, and we'll see like how I will show you a little bit of Formic, not much, just like a kind of to start to do kickoff, and then we will, after that, we will probably we can already split you into the in the groups, and you can start implementing the forms, and you can decide like how you're going to build it.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. Okay, so group 6 ready to share the show. Yeah, let's go, guys. I'm stop sharing. Let's have a look, and then we will have a break. Come on, team 6.
1 second. You mean our group?
Yeah, Olan. Yep.
Can you see?
Yep.
So this is the project, and this is how we did filtering. And we can also add some items to the cart. For example, two of this one, and two of this, and then we can go to cart and look here, and we can switch back.
Can you delete it from the cart?
No, we don't have it yet.
Okay.
So that's basically it. Nothing very much. And if you have questions about the coding,
no, so good. Yep. Cool. Nice. Yep. What I would recommend, Ola, next time, because like if you can make images at least about the same size, that would be great, because it won't take a lot of time, right? But it would look quite good enough to kind of like quite appealing. Because if they are if they are of different size, you see, like the second row has quite a tall pictures, right?
Yes.
So and the rest they're quite short. So it's not neat, right? That and which kind of it's just very obvious that people didn't spend much time on the UI.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
So in our group we didn't have a common time, so that's why everyone worked on their own. And Thursday night we worked all together, so we were just sharing, and we were almost at the same page. Actually, I did the ones that you're seeing right now, because yesterday was Ulan and Kanatbek, because everyone joined it only yesterday night, so we had only one common time. Everyone did on their own, so everyone has like a little bit different styles.
Sure. But guys, don't forget that it's not individual project. If it was individual, I would ask you to build it on your own. But like you have 2 weeks, right? So you can, if you were able to meet yesterday, on Thursday, yes, that it means that you probably could have found the time to meet like at least once in the previous week, right? So for me, it's very important that you grow together, so you learn. If you see the other teams which did quite amazing work, whatever they did, they worked like as a team. And I don't know like where you guys like coming from, but I know that in team 5 they have people coming from different places, not only in the States. So they also have some challenges, I believe, kind of to meet, and they still found the time. So for me, it's kind of not excuse. And during the internship, the last thing I want to hear is like, we cannot find the common time. There is no such thing for me, because like some people, they managing to find the time, and the rest, and some don't. So please, unless you have a very proper excuse not to attend and help your team, I don't want to hear any excuses. Okay, guys, thank you very much. Let's have a break, and then let's meet in 10 minutes. So in the material UI, like we will just build the basic form. So I can show you how to style it. So for example, we can create npx. Let me go to cd document ctag port. We have 21. 21. We can create npx create react app, and here we can say basic movie. So material UI, quite often it is referred as movie form. I will explain you like why in the more complex project I'm suggesting using Formic. We probably, if we have time, I can show you like how to use Formic. If not, I can show it next time during the class. But next time I want to show you how to use Google Places API, because I was always wondering how, you know, like sometimes you type in the text field and then you type like your city, and then it like renders it and shows that your country or your city. And I always was wondering how it is done. So I will show you. I will teach you next Friday how to do this. So we can go basic material UI. I open my Visual Studio Code. Comes here. So let me increase it, maybe just a little bit smaller. So we can use this and don't need testing. Yes. Okay, this. Cool. So we don't need app CSS. We will use styled components for this. This can index CSS can stay here. So within here, we just do hello world, just to make sure that everything works, because we don't want to do. I removed logo. We don't need this. So also prefer arrow functions. Mistyped const, and so we will need start. So it will. So everything works nice and smooth. The next step, what we can do, we can install Material UI. So Material UI install. With the Material UI,
we need two things. We need to install this because I'm using Yarn again. I will continue using it. So I add this, and I also need styled components. So I'm picking this thing as well. So let it be loading. This part is loading. Cool. So the first set of packages been downloaded and installed. Now we are installing style components. Cool. So we installed two things. So we need text field. Text field. So text field comes here. So as you can see, there are different types of fields. You don't need to remember them. You just need to know where to find them. So this is very important. If you know where to find them, then it will be easy to implement it, find it. So no one memorizes these things. So how material UI documentation is formed. So like if you go here, you can see components and then it gives you examples. So if you want to do something like extra, so which is not shown here, you scroll right down to the bottom, and here you can see like a lot of things like components which you can use. So for example, like field input, like text field. So text field has own APIs. So and here you don't have examples. So we are coming to the part of the documentation, which is APIs. It only tells you what kind of things components, material UI components have. So like let's say in the text field, so these are the props. So sometimes you can see like I have like many props. Last time I showed you during the practice test or practice class that I'm adding the props, and you may be like where this guy gets his props from. So everything comes from the documentations. So these are the props. So if we are talking about the text field, it tells you, documentation tells you everything. How do you import the text field? So you can be using a name import or default import. You also, it tells you like how it is communicates. It is important to understand the text field is simple abstraction. So on top of something, so text field can be used in input label, like on form control, input, and so on. So, and it also provides you all the potential props you can set. Like for example, for color, you can set these values. So like a primary, secondary. I saw like Team 5 when they were doing theme. So theme, it's a kind of like for material UI, it's a set of styles which will be applied for components. So you can set your own theme, and here there are like primary, secondary. If you are using the version 5, above 5, it will be like there are more options. If you're using version below 5, it will be like only, I think, primary and secondary. So it's very important to, sometimes you look at the documentation and something doesn't work, make sure that the library version and the documentation you are looking at are matching. So let's build something very basic, and then we will just try to style it. So styling can be a little bit tricky, but we will just, for example, I like this example. We will say controlled, uncontrolled.
controlled to uncontrolled, and then the good thing with this library, it's so well documented, it provides all the examples. So opens it in the code sandbox. You can play with the code sandbox. This is like usually how the developers, they can test, like understand what's going on. So as for us, we will just copy paste this thing. And then we will look what does it do and how to kind of like improve it. So we will have this. Cool. So if you see sometimes in examples, this thing, it's a part of the TypeScript. So like this very strange, like a colon and some text. So you don't need to worry about it, just delete it. It should be good enough. Then it says that we don't have a React import, so we can just import use effect instead of importing whole React. So use state. And we will just try to render it and see what happens. Okay. So as you can see, we have two fields, right? So who wants to take the challenge and explain how this code works? Like what does it do? Let's ask Recep. Recep, do you want to take challenge and just tell us what does this code do?
Can you say again, please?
So you have this code. Is this a component? So can you explain me what does it do?
Okay. This code, we have like hooks function. We have const name and set name function. Also we have box component, text field component, and we have to import. Also we imported. Sorry. Yeah.
So when you're reading the code, reading the code, what like what do you expect? Just a moment, I need to
rendering inside the return. We have to see like cat in the head.
So I will ask you one thing. Okay. So it will be easy. So if I type here something, what will happen? You tell me.
Okay. This is even
like if I type doc, what will happen? So if I start typing, what will happen? Like others, any ideas? What will happen to this component? Like what if I start typing here? What will happen?
We send value and just we send value like event.target.value on change function.
Okay, so if I'm typing here, if I type in here, right? So I'm typing it, but where the value is stored, this value, do we store it?
No. Yes, we stored inside the handle change function.
Okay, handle change, right? Okay. So, and what does handle change do?
Handle change calling the set name function.
Okay,
state.
so you're saying that we are changing the name, right?
Yes, value is changing.
So if I do console log
name, it should print me every time I type something. It should print me something, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I will refresh it. So you don't accuse me that I'm not. Nothing changed. Why? Why did it print only cat in the hat, but didn't print this stuff?
Because initial value is cat in the hat. When we
no, but why doesn't do why doesn't change when I do?
Can I say?
Yes, yeah, you of course I'm waiting for someone to say.
Okay, so because for the next second text field we don't have any value, and then we don't have a handle change the function.
So Rajab, do you understand? So we have two text values, right? So for only for one of them, we use a value and handle change. You see? So we have name and the handle change. For the second one, we don't have this logic. So it's only shows full. Even if you type here anything, you see nothing happens. It doesn't get stored anywhere. We are not storing it in state. So you're changing the values here inside the text, but in reality, your application doesn't know what you're doing because it doesn't track. That's why it is called uncontrolled. Like it doesn't care what you're doing here inside.
Okay.
Okay, so we can remove this. So and if we have only this, I start removing and type here, you see automatically it started doing all this stuff, right?
I didn't care about text field. Okay.
So it's the first thing. Like why I'm asking you, Rajab, because I think like you this thing is missing. Like when we are talking about use state and you were talking about use effect. So use state is it's only certain part, right, of the application. It's like it has a very certain logic, right? Use state, it means that you allow in person, like the user, change the state. So the user can like some manipulations, like it can be click, it can be type on change, it can be anything. So you are using use state. Use state is usually triggered by a person. Use effect, on the other hand, so let's say I use effect, and like I will ask first of all why we have a return here and we are returning a function. So do we have a hook masters here? Who can tell me why we have a return and why we have effect here? How use effect structured? And the question will go to Karina.
So the question was why we have effect and return?
Yeah, why we're returning the function? What does this do? And what does this do? And what does this do?
I think I know a little bit about this line 16. We have that the use effect doesn't keep looping. It will only work when that thing works, the functionality works, and it won't loop, I think, but others I don't know.
Okay, someone with a little bit more experience, like Biknar, do you know why we have this structure of use effect?
May I try?
Like why we have this and this and this in use effects? So if you understand these guys, you pretty much will understand why we have use effect and why we have use state. So the reason is you state, you do set state, right? You have like two very distinguished, like very explicit things here. So you have like variable, and you're given the method how to change this variable, right? How to change the value of that variable. So you explicitly can say set, like you can associate the set name with any event, and you can pass any value to the name, right? Am I correct? If you don't get it, just ask me to repeat the explanation. So the use state has very explicit way of changing the name, right? So this function changes the name, but use effect is a little bit tricky. Use effect is not triggered. You cannot you cannot trigger it with some effect. It is something which will run by itself, depending on the condition within your application. It's not like a user dependent effect. It is independent from the user input. User cannot affect this effect. It's only controlled by the React. So and what happens is, so I can import use effect. So what happens is, conceptually, they're very different. So use effect has three things which you can change in it. So first of all, you can put some logic here. For example, you can say if name give me a second, someone's typing something. So if let's say if my name length is not is even, I would say I want to, for example, print console log. I say the name is of the even length. Else I do console log. Is even of the odd length. I think it's must be an even and an odd length. So I will kind of hide this for now. And if I do this, if I remove and keep it empty, so guys, what will happen? Does anyone know what will happen with use effect?
It will run just once. It will use effect will work only one time.
Yes, that's right. So this effect will run only one time. Just let's have a look. So I tested. So maybe I will need to rerun it. So you see, it runs only one time. So doesn't matter what I do next. Does the render happens? Yes, it happens, but it renders only one time. If I remove this completely, look what will happen. By the way, I can increase it a little bit if it is hard to see. Shall I increase a little bit more? Now,
yes,
yes, yep. So now I will refresh it again. So it rendered one time, says even length is it is even length because we have like even number of characters. So I will start typing. You see, on every single type, it goes odd, even, odd, even, odd, even, right? So what does it mean? So if I remove the second parameter from useEffect will be kicked, like will be started every time, right? Like every time component renders, then it will do another render, which causes useEffect, which was caused by useEffect. If I do just this square brackets, then it does it only once, right? And what I can do also, I can associate it with something, like with the state. So what I'm telling, that useEffect should be kicked off if name gets changed. So useEffect will look at the name and we'll see if name was changed after render, it will kick in. So essentially, it will work as it works without this thing. So now we're coming like to the interesting part. What is this part? So to understand how this part works, you have to tell me when useEffect, what does useEffect do? When does it kick in? When does it start? Can you explain the logic? To understand how this logic works, you need to understand like how the rendering happens. So let's say here I say rendering up. So I have rendering up. Here I say console log console log. I say rendering useEffect. So I save it, and now what I do. So I saved everything. I will refresh. So you see, it says rendering up, then rendering useEffect, and then it goes inside. So rendering up, rendering useEffect, and then it happens this one thing. So I will start typing. I type the one thing. It's again rendering up, rendering useEffect. So what is the sequence, guys? Tell me. What happens? From here, you have to understand, like, what does useEffect do? What does it wait?
It waits until it's triggered, right? So first we have this app. We render whatever is stored initially inside our name. And then it goes to return, which renders. And then since we have this useEffect, it's going to go back to useEffect after rendered.
Yes.
And then whatever is inside useEffect, it's going to trigger that and display.
Yes, good. So like when we do useEffect right here, so when we do useEffect, the thing is that as Alina said, that application renders this part. Once render happens, it will check, do we have any useEffects? If yes, do we need to render, then do we need to run it? If yes, then we run useEffect, because name was changed, so we run useEffect, and then useEffect causes the second render. So that we can, how to check it, that it was rendered twice. We can use components. Here you have to be very, like, you know, it will be very quick, so you just need to. So we selected this. I type. So even though it looked like one render, in reality it rendered twice. So it rendered component and then kicks the useEffect. So like the easiest and the most reliable thing, like to check how the rendering happens, is to use console logs and see like when it renders. So and the last thing is this effect. So this effect, when this effect kicks like starts and executes, this use effect will execute only when we remove this component from the DOM. So if we remove app, so any logic, you put it here, like let's say console log, console log, let's say console log by from app. It will render only when you leave, when you unmount this component. And because we only have one component, we cannot run this at the moment. But when it is useful, guys, when do you think that you can use this stuff?
Maybe if you go to the different page.
Yes, but most of the time you don't need it. There is another, like there is a certain cases where you have to do this. For example, no, when you, for example, you imagine you set timeout, right? Like for some reason, somewhere, you do set timeout, and set timeout is asynchronous, right? And you started, like, let's say you have a button here, which counts like a set timeout. Like I'm not going to build it, but like just imagine when you do set timeout, it's a synchronous function which runs in the background. So how would you remove set timeout? There is this, if you close the application, if you close this component, your set timeout will still be running. So usually, like every asynchronous function has to be killed before you close the component. And often the only way you can do it is use effect and then do all the components. So this part plays the role of component did.mount, and this part plays the role of component did.mount. So as you can see, conceptually they are very different. So user cannot control this part. It's only it's controlled by React and JavaScript. While this part is explicitly you're using your set name and you're using set function to kind of like associate it with any action done by the user. So now we are here, and let's say you want to style this component. So if you want to style this component, this sometimes like it, I don't know how hard was for you to style this component like during the projects you've done recently, but for me it was like extremely hard. Like when first time I was working with Material UI, I was like kind of like struggled a lot. So I didn't know how to style it properly. So for this, in order to do styling, I will use styled components. So import styled from styled components. So how the styled components work? So here I create a component, and usually the name of that component can be like anything you like, but the best thing, if you, for example, going to style text field, the best practice is do style text field. And here you do styled, and within styled you create brackets and then pass text field. So and always there are 2 backticks, and within those backticks you can do like things you want to change. Let's say color red. So then you can pass it to here. So for some reason it's not happy. So what I'm missing, guys? There is something that I'm missing, so you have to identify what potentially is missing. As if you listen to me carefully last time, that this thing is like a CSS like thing.
Semicolon.
So yes, semicolon is required. Good, Recep. So now I'm start typing, and you see, oh no, you're actually not changing CSS, right? So you're not changing the color. So, and then, like, what is your reaction, guys? What you will do? Like, you're engineers, software developer engineers. So what you will do?
Google.
Go to dev tool and try to.
So yeah, the first thing you probably have to understand, like, are you actually applying the style? So you're inspecting the element a little bit, because like Google, yes, but you should know like what to ask, right? So like what you're going to ask? Oh, Google, help me! Like I cannot style the component. No, you first of all you try to look. Is your color has been applied, and then like you quickly realize. So you have like one. This is your component, right? So you open it and look, there is like MUI component, then you have a label. So it means that you have, this is your big component. So you have like component within component. So you have label. Then you go forward, you have input. And within input you can see like, where's the place we applied red? So like the best way, because we have like multiple components, I say red, and you see like red was overwritten. So my red was overwritten by something, which is not good, right? Which is not what we expected. So red was overwritten here, and we applying red on the top, but somewhere like at the bottom we are overwriting it, and this is the problem. Like quite often, like when you style the material UI components, it will be it is tricky. It's like you will have to figure out like why it happens. So like the next step is to use like both Google Chrome or Mozilla. They have this part like there is like layout and computed. So in the computed, you have to find where's the color. So you check ABCD. Oh, yep. So the color is here, and now you can see that we are applying red. And then what does overrides it? Overrides is a MUI base root blah blah blah. And then we are applying also current color. So current color is applied by MUI input base. So what is this, guys? What do you think? What is this? What are the names?
Is it like built in the component from Material UI?
Yes, but like how they are used in the elements. What are they? As you can see, they are class names, right? So you see the class name here, MUI based blah blah blah. You have CS9 blah 9 DDG71. So we can identify what actually overrides it, and we can see that color been overwritten by .css. Dot, it means that it is a class name, right? So CSS 9, DD71, and all the names. So we have to find it. So we applied the styling here, and this guy is overwriting it. So overwriting it, and the way how to check it, so we can, there is a color, we remove it, you see? So just inspection. So we found that color, which the place where it is overwritten. So the next part is, if you want to change the color of this thing, that color, how would you apply it? So my question, how would you apply it? Assume that you're working with pure CSS. What would you do? How would you override this?
Like I personally, when we were working, I would apply in live CSS. Honestly, it will work for input directly to the component.
Yeah, but see, like people are stepping away from pure, like having CSS files. Why? Because imagine you have like a one CSS file serves hundreds components. Then it's very hard to navigate. Here you have like a component styling right inside the one file, right? So you don't need to run anyway. You know that this thing exists. It is unique across the whole app. It lives only one within the one file, within one JavaScript model. So you don't need to worry how you name it. So it can be style text field here, and another file can have own style field text, style text field. So style components, they are taking the market nowadays. So but your assumption is, even if you do CSS, you have to use the name of the class. So like the most obvious thing is to look, okay, you have a div here, and there are a bunch of names. So the easiest one is to pick the first name. So material UI input root, and you apply to it. But in the style components, there is like this thing as you have to use ampersand. Then you say what you want to change. And voila, you have a red names. You see? Or I think you also can say that you want to inherit it from the parent, but you have to be careful with inherit, because sometimes it can take not from the parent of the parent, like of the parent. It can take from the great parent, and then it will be like, again, it will be mess. So the best thing is to change it right at the place. So we are changing it here. Okay, so now we know what we know, that in order to change the field, you guys need what? You need like some handle change, and you need like a state to store the value, right? So it's the first two things. If you don't have these two things, like any form will not work in React. In basic vanilla JavaScript, yes, you will type something, then you will access it. It's like it's a little bit different, in a different way. Here you do renders. So every time you type something, it will re-render. You have to store that state. You cannot just like store it in a variable or something. Another thing we learned is that there is a use effect, and use effect is independent and usually not depends on the actions of the user. That's why it is called effect, use effect. So, and here you can either run it once. If you remove the input variable, you can do it as many times as required when you remove the input completely, or you can link use effect to some variable, to some state which will change, and then once the variable changes, the use effect will kick in. And we also learned how to do styling. So styling is a little bit trickier for material UI, but it just requires a little bit of experience how to do it.
May I
So,
ask a question about this material UI styling?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
you said like every time when you do like different type of styling, so we have to go through inside the dev tool and find
No, no. Like you, in theory, you should not style much with Material UI. Material UI already provides you with a lot of information. Like it has a lot of things in it which you don't need to style it, custom style it. But there would be sometimes the situations where you will have to do it. Like for example, I do like one here and I do another one just next under. So I say, let me call it like, so it will be just pure text field. So here, if I look at the API, so I say text field, I need to find. So text field has a color, you see, color prop. It can be primary, secondary, error, info, and blah, blah, blah. So let's use this secondary, for example, color. So we use color. Oops. Secondary. You see, it's Material UI already colors it like a auto frame for you. Material UI thinks like that you don't need to change the name, don't need to change the color of the text, but you know the designers, they are weird, right? Designers are weird, so they will say, oh, you know, like I want this color, that's all, you know. It doesn't matter if it is like, you know, end of the world. It will say if they want something, you will have to deliver. As an engineer, you are not designer. You cannot, like, you can negotiate with designers, say like, oh, you're kind of like, your expectations are not feasible during the time frame we have, but if they want to change the color, most likely you will have to change it. So and you know, like in this case, it is like a custom changes, because your API does not provide this fine-tuned granularity, right, of the changes. So you cannot change it easily through API. So that's why you have to kind of like do workaround and find like the way how you do it. In our company, we use the custom things, but once you define it once, you can reuse it another time, like any way you like. So like, let's say you can so for example, you can do it here. You can shift it like in the components. Within components, you can like reusable, usable, and you can say and then you can say like, let's say it will be some text, custom text field, text field G6. So and then you create it here, and then you can reuse it in many places. So you say text field. You can do here. So we do import styled from styled components. Then we can take this from here. So we need text field. So text field here. For some reason I didn't find it. So do you remember why I couldn't find text field in Material UI? Do you remember the hack around how to, what was the problem? I will go back to that place. Just give me a second. So I say custom text field. Import custom text field. Okay, so from components reusable, and then so guys, do you remember what was the problem here? Last week, if you paid attention, we had like very similar problem. So what is this? Why I have it red?
Because you are importing it from material UI.
Yes, and also
we can rename it, and because you're creating function with the same name.
Exactly. So do you remember? So we can say MUI text field. So and then we can reuse this stuff here, right? So for some magic reason, we have errors. So we can have a look. Why is that? So import can only be used in TypeScript files. So okay, we don't want to do default import, so we do named import. So and now we also have so we have a styled components, then they have a name is duplicated, you see. Okay, so it says we need to pass these two things here, right? So we need to pass name and we need to pass handle change. So Nurzhan, back to your question, like, do you need to do it all the time? No, but most likely you will have to do it like many times, not once, not two times, but quite significant number of times. Worth to learn it and use it.
Okay. And can I ask one more question?
Yes.
From where we're getting that styled component from the top when we're importing?
So styled component, it's another library. So like when we, just give me a second, let me finish it so it works, okay? I hate when it doesn't work. So main. So as you can see, now we have two things, and one of them is a styled component, one of them is just a custom. So the question is like, where did I get it, right? So I got it when I do install material UI. I'm doing like two installations of the packages. The first one is a core one, so to install, and the second is, or if you want to install the styled components, you can just run this one. Essentially, one thing. You don't need to run this. You need to run this. So then this way you will only install styled components. So and styled components, you can open it here. So this is a styled components. And again, you can see like if you say, oh, who's using it, like it's how many big names do you see? They're all DoorDash using it, like Life Hacker using it, Disney using it. Like you guys see, like is this a selling point, Nurzhan? This guy is using it, and probably you should also use it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So I know that, you know, like it's very hard to kind of like go from one thing which you learned to something more different, and like you become more like skeptical. But we are not here to learn the basic things, right? So we are here to learn whatever like industry does, and industry does material UI, and they style it through styled components.
Yes, can I ask a question, Nurzhan?
Yes, sure.
So you said that this class component, I mean not class component, I mean
styled components.
Styled component applies the class when CSS, when it comes to CSS. What if we style our color with using ID or inline, or make it important? Will it?
Yeah. So you can do it like there is a way how to you can apply important. You actually you can do like if you do it. So you do it color here, right?
Yeah, and like it has an ID already.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or yeah. Like
so let's do this. So I will tell you, like guys, I did the same mistake, right? So first time I had to style the material UI, I was like breaking my head. I was like, gosh, how to how to style it? Like when one of my colleagues saw that I put important, he realized that, you know, I don't know anything about style component. He's like, man, yeah, in complete desperate, you know, like I said, yes, I don't know. I'm just like I tried all the possible things. But then, yeah. So the thing is that you, first of all, the style components, they have like certain rules how you can apply it. Like there is the ways like in documentation.
Oh yeah, I see. So they ignore like when you put important, they
yeah, it's because it's a bad practice, right? So like there are workarounds. They use a double ampersand, which will be quite similar to, like, let's say you do double ampersand, it will be kind of like similar to important, but you should be also quite conscious when you're using double ampersand or better to use single and only use double ampersand in the cases where like
Okay, what about ID? We should give ID, and then
so
yeah, ID is higher, right? Than class.
so you can apply ID, but then, you know, it's there is no big difference then, right? Like you here
I
the
mean,
question
instead of finding the parent that reapplies this MIUI outlined input, I just apply ID for this styled text field.
why this one is better, because like, okay, so let's go back to all this part here. So you say outlined named, like let's say, or like when we are here, right? So like this guy doesn't have ID, but like this one doesn't have. It's only input has an outline name, right? So why it is more advisable to use this? So like when you use this for basically you are telling what you're exactly changing, because like people want to know, like outline text, what is it, you know, like ID of outline text, like it can be like anything, it doesn't tell you like specifically what it is. While here you are saying that it is multi-component outlined input, so you know exactly what you're changing. So it is more specific. It is very like it is very good practice to use the class.
Okay, I
class
understand.
names. Yeah.
Okay, I got it.
So okay, now let's like try to use Formic. Okay, so Formic is a little bit interesting. Can be a little bit also hard at the beginning. Why? Because you kind of like, okay, I learned set state, I learned handle change, and you know, like I don't want to
kind of, I don't want to be flexible, and I want to, just do what I learned already. But guys, we are scratching the surface, right? So there is a reason why, again, like these companies like Airbnb, they're using this the Formic, and the main reason is because like forms are not one field, it's not two fields, it's like multiple fields. Like sometimes forms are going from one page to another page, and it's like and when you come up with like something like 20-30 fields, then ask yourself, like for every single field you do, you will have to write handle change, you will have to write use state. And then what if you like have like different conditions? What you add if you add validation? What if you do like a lot of like a side stuff which you didn't think of yet? Well, like Formic already has quite a certain structure which you can follow and create. So like when you open any documentation, it's first thing you will have to understand, like look at how to add that library into your project. And so there is a clear thing is like we are saying that we can add yarn add Formic. So we are adding Formic. So Formic is added. So next step is like you have to, like they're also well documented, so you can look at the code sandbox and see like how it works. It's one thing. You also can go through like examples. And essentially what it is like there is you're wrapping something inside the Formic component, which is which you import from Formic. So I'm lazy. I don't want to like kind of type all this stuff. I just copy, paste it. So paste it. Oh, guys, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Maybe the best way to copy, no waste time is good. Like smarter way. Nurzhan, we can't hear you.
Okay, guys, sorry, my bad. For some reason, the Zoom crashed. So I didn't do much. I was like, I just realized that no one is asking questions and doesn't do anything. So what I'm doing is, I'm doing here, I'm copying this stuff, like, and then I want to put it already. It's kind of like already did it. One more time. So can you hear me, right? So I'm just checking. Like,
Yes.
Yeah, cool.
Yes.
So it's the first thing. So we added Formic here, and then we need form and Formic on this side. So, and we add this. So, and we also can import Formic. And so we imported Formic. We don't need these two things. We also can, we are not going to use this stuff here anymore. So I'll commenting out this stuff. So, and also another thing what we don't need. So with style components is clear. So I will just comment this one out. So, and we will concentrate on the formic. So formic, I don't like how this ugly thing looks like. I don't know about you, but I don't like it. So here, so formic is like, if you look at it, you're like, oh my God, what is this? And formic is just a component, and then we have 1, 2, 3 props. Maybe I think there are more props, but they are commonly used. And here you start with initial value. Let's say you want to record, let's say, name. So we do this name here. We don't need. So we have name. Guys, can you give me a second? I think like my little one, she's just saying something. Give me a second, please. Hi, I'm back. So like here in the initial value, you can specify the value you want to store. So we had initial this value, so we'll put it here. And here we are saying that we can validate it. So validation is, you can look at it later, but what we are more after, so on submit, you do like some values, set submitting. We don't need this. We just, what we need, we can have it for now. And then, so what will happen is like when we do submit, will be set timeout, and then alert will jump out with the name, which we will type there. So we will have to add submit button as well. So submit button, let's copy it here. So box, don't need anything in the box. So like there are two things here. So the first thing is that like if you look at the structure, so within a formic component, you will have to create like this expression like in braces. So the first thing, you create braces, and then you put a callback function in it. So callback function, the inputs are values. Values are the values which are stored by the formic. So then there are errors. There is like it's I think the state which controls like if you touch the field. So we don't need this because we are not going to use it. We handle blur also is not required. We have handle submit. Is submitting is correct. And also we don't need errors because we are not doing like any validation. So we are just using values. So here within the text field, we can do values, and we use name because we use the values. So we are passing. Do we have any other values here? So why is it complaining? No, it's not. So all good. So label and on change, we are passing this. We need to say handle change. So we are already handling changing the value. So if we now look in our component, so the best thing I found to be is to So you select here, you navigate to Formic. It will tell you that, so Formic provider, so it will tell you what kind of values you have. So set touched, so children, we can start typing here. So once we start typing, oops, so we are not changing anything. So we, did we delete the correct field? No. So handle change, on change, handle change.
I think on top you don't have, you commented out the handle change, the function should be.
No, it should come from Formic. It's not, it should not come from it should not come from, I don't need to write handle change. It's a Formic which handles it. The only thing is that I want to check if it is done correctly. So I can see here. So we do email. Okay, yes, that's right. We also probably ought to display. So we have one Formic. We can do P here, JSON stringify. So values. So what I'm doing is I want to display what kind of values I'm going to the. So currently you see outlined name. So this one, what is this? I didn't create this thing. So it is not the thing that I. So yeah, it's ID. We don't need this ID. Okay. So cat name, I should start changing this handle change name. Give me a second. Some button. We'll pass in various emails. As you can see, it's changing here. So I'm probably missing something at the moment.
Do you need props and then this error?
No, we destructured it before. Okay. Yeah, so we destructured it in this way. There is something which stops. Okay, of course. So we have a box which works as a component form. So this is the thing. So we don't need this box. So I think it's this thing which breaks it. Oh no. So handle submit definitely works, but handle change doesn't come from. Do we use handle change somewhere else? It's only one. Handle submit, handle change. It's only one place.
The values should be object, like values.name.
Values.name? Yes, this one is a values. Values comes from, so your Formic will combine all the values inside the values, like all the parameters you pass. It will use it will put it inside the values. So values is an object. So as you can see here, I'm printing out values. So it is here, you see, it is name and it passes the value. It's a big object. Formic forms a big object. which it has to change. I don't know like why handle change doesn't work. So I need to give me a second. I need to figure out why forming doesn't handle change. I don't see any reason why it didn't. It should change, but maybe I'm just missing one thing, like as usual. Touch forming handle change does not work. Oh, just give me a second. So I have on change here. Yeah, I have on change and I have on change there, right? So handle change. So export default. There is no explanation here. I hate it.
What if we use regular input instead of a text field? Maybe.
You mean like this? Yeah, it may be maybe like no. It's something happens. I don't understand why. Like sometimes it's a very obvious thing. So handle change comes from the formic. I'm using it. It's exactly the same as example. So input handle change. Unless but it's not possible that I mistyped it in two places. So it's something which I'm missing. Let me check in my another. I also have one application which I prepared for the next week. So I will check if everything is correct on that site.
Nurzhan?
Yes.
Can you cursor over the formic?
Was the formic?
Yeah.
Yeah, just a moment. Formic.
No, I mean inside the VS Code.
In the VS Code, yes, sure.
Yes. It's underlined,
Oh, it's just a spelling. It's kind of like says spelling is wrong, but it's the name of the package, right? So it's not. It's correct. The only thing that I think what I should do, I will just for split seconds, I will have to use example from the formic, and then see if this one works, and then I will try to debug it and see like what is actually breaking my application, because it's obviously I'm missing something which very obvious, but I don't see it at the moment. So we have this. So nothing was returned from render. Why is that? Okay, so formic, because I need to return. Cool. And now you see invalid email address. Okay, so but it definitely works. gmail.com. Then I do submit, and this thing displays. So exactly what needs to be done. So we did formic, we did
So values. So we on blur, handle blur is not required. So handle blur is not required. And this one is not required. This one is not required. Submit. So errors validate is not required. This one can go away. This one can go away. This one can go away. 1 second, guys. Now the cookies. And I accidentally removed div. So I have formic div submit. So it's pretty much what I have, right? So exactly the same thing. And now it works. You see, it's magic. I guess I probably need a. I guess I need a maybe wrapper around it.
I think you need a name for the input.
Oh yes, 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 Beckner. That's correct. This is absolutely correct. So why you need name? Without name, it doesn't know which field it needs to change. So it's kind of like a. It's not a good thing like to call this name. We will probably say text. We say text here. And we say text here. So text is not defined. And it should be text here. So yes, look at this, guys. Text. Yes. So what was the problem, guys? The problem is, as you can see, like you define any structure you like, right? Like let's say if we have a form 1, like in say tech, we have like let's say here. So we have full name, last name, address, line 2, right? Like let's build this thing. So we have like a full name. It can be empty. Last name. It can be empty. Then we have address 1.
First name.
And address 2. So you see this thing, it's the initial values. It's the values which can be modified in future. So it's kind of like your states. You see, like similar to what we had here at the beginning with our name here. So it's a state, full name, last name, address, which can be modified. So you don't need anything. So in order to address them, so I need to change them. So I say like this field is let it be full name. And the field I want to change in these values is full name. And the values, so I'm accepting values, and I know that values consist full name, last name, address, and address 1 and address 2. So I do address 1 or full name. Not full name, it's the last first name, right? So first name. So handle change is like you don't need to pass anything to there. So we don't need a color to worry anything about color. So then we have duplicated 4 times instead of full name, first name. Now you have a last name. Now you have address 1. Address 1. The field you want to change is here is the last name. Here is the last name. Here is address 1. Address 1. Address 2. Address 2. Okay, so you see, we don't have we have only one handle change. We have only one object. We don't have use state for use state, for use handlers, and so on, right? So now if I open it, I refresh it. So look, Nurzhan, Nursultanov, test address 1, test address 2. How easy? Isn't it easier? What do you think?
It seems like easy, but you need to know how to apply.
Yes.
But once you learn it, it's way easier, right? So
yes.
And look at the documentation. There are many things like you just have to kind of like look at the documentation, implement new stuff, and it is a very good tool. It's a very good tool. So if you can understand like how Formic works, you learn a lot of things.
So may I ask a question? So is it coming with a functionality, right? I mean that, for example, handle change, when we are using the regular React, so we have to type that like target value.
Yeah, so if you're using regular React, for every single thing, you have to create a separate state, separate handle, and a lot of things. Here, you don't need to even know what happens here with handle change. You just use it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You just need to specify what kind of field you want to change, and this was the problem. So Bignar spotted it correctly, and it was like clicked in my head straight away that yes, if you don't have a name, so text field doesn't know like which one it needs to kind of like, you know, which one of these it needs to change.
Okay.
Okay, guys. So I hope it was beneficial. I can send this thing. You can play with it. It's like the first task where you need to build that basic form is very easy.
Yes.
So yeah.